as we've seen in the previous example, and also in the code example here, we can initialize the weather advice variable going through the if, else if, else if, else if, else statement, depending upon what the temperature actually is. And then we print it out at the bottom, we get the weather advice as per it should be. So because it's -4, we can see let's sit by the fire and keep warm. But you can see a lot of repetitive code here, weather advice equals, etc., etc. So it's a lot of repetitive code. And how can we do this? Because we want to be able to combine if statements and expressions and updating the weather advice as well, all in the same code. Now, what about if we just extracted this from here and said, hey, if statement, just set this one value instead, right? Rather than do anything. Now, we can remove this. This is super clever in Swift, and it's really nice. We can remove this weather advice and just let Swift compiler just do it for us, right? And now, when we run this, we get exactly the same thing. But this time, we can have a let as well. We can say let weather advice because we know that it's going to get set. The return value of this if, else if, else if, else if, else statement is going to set weather advice. Now, what's super interesting is this, is that if we now remove let's do something and make it nil, and we run this once again, you can see here, cannot convert value of expression by nil and literal to specified type string, because we're set up here that it's of a string type, not of an optional type. So if we run it again, you can see now it allows it to be the nil type. So let's remove type annotation now and let the Swift compiler infer what the value is. And as you can see, it can't quite refer what it is, right? Because we can see here, it's like I don't know what it is because we've got a nil here. However, if we come here and we say that this is as a string, right, we can see now that it has inferred that it's an optional string. So let's now say as a string. Well, you can't have nil as a string. So you've got to say this is an optional string rather than just a nil value. So now if we remove the else statement from this and run this again, you can see if must have an unconditional else to be used as an expression. It's got to be exhaustive, right? It means that this if else if statement has got to always supply a value in every single case. So if you create an if statement, that's the true side of it. You've got to have the false side of it. You've got to have the other side of the one expression. So it means that we are covering all different avenues that could possibly be. So this is always then the default option that should be there, all right? And in this case, we want it to be as a nil. Now we can remove this nil as a string here by just using type annotation instead, which makes the code a lot cleaner, and clean code is way better than short code, all right? Because sometimes you can write more code and it be cleaner than having short code that's not clean. With that said, I hope you've got something out this one video. This is a super nice little thing that Swift provides you with, and not having to have the return value, and just that it applies, it infers, sorry, what the return type value is just by having one line in there. Now, if we did, let's say let text and then say text in here, you can see that we start getting a problem because it's got to infer just on one line basically what it's going to have. All right, with that said, I hope that you've got something out this one video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and if you've got any questions, feedback or concerns or anything like that, then let's start a conversation in the comment section down below. Other than that, thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao, and goodbye.